What's up, guys? First time doing this with Zoom. I sent an invite to Jacob Beach, Preppers Bunker Outdoors. Should be joining us here soon. So if you're just tuning in or watching this later, kind of had to figure this stuff out. Pretty damn confusing, but I think I got it now. I'm gonna start sharing this on Facebook and everything. Got some cool stuff made. New pouch that we'll be talking about. That's gonna be going on the chest rigs that you can also mount onto your belt, both horizontally and vertically. Let's see where we're at with Jacob. He might be on a different time than me. We'll see. But let's see. You got people in here yet? I'm getting different stuff on here. I wonder if you can even see comments on this. Probably have to go to the YouTube one. Get on the combat train and share this. Then I'm gonna be pulling up the live chat. Try to get this shit figured out. Let's see. Kill sound on that. Okay. Well, I got Ashley. I got Max. Try to zoom in. It's just this. I can't even zoom in on this. Man, there we go. Baby's sleeping. That's good. Thank you for sharing, Max. I'm trying to figure this out right now. If you got Jacob's number, why don't you go ahead and send him a text? You might have gotten busy or something, but he's got a message on Instagram for the link. Let me just try calling him on this. Well, it says my phone's ringing on Instagram. Well, it made sense to get his actual number for this. Yeah, you can come show people what you got from Target. That's fine, baby. Jacob isn't answering. Well, if Jacob doesn't answer, that's no big deal. But let's see who else do we got in here. If you're in here, go ahead and comment. Let's see. Oh, Matt's in here. What's up, man? Well, while we're waiting, and I don't have him in here yet. Yeah, while we're waiting, I might as well start showing you something cool that I just came up with. Literally prototyped it yesterday and made it today. I don't really see any changes I need to make on it, so I think we're going to put this out here pretty soon. But this is a badass fucking pouch that I just came out with. So as you can see, of course, you can fit a bang can in there. Very important. But the way this works is it's got a flap, right? You got 2.5 inches of soft loop coming up here, 4 inches of hook right here. And then you can fit, say for AK first, 1 AK mag sticks up that high, right? You got shock cord on the side right there that keeps it tight, keeps it holding its form. And then with the AK mag in, you're going to want that flap up. And when it secures down, you have contact with 4 inches of Velcro sticking to itself right there, right? But that's not enough because I want to be able to hold 2 AK mags. So putting in a second one, pretty tight because I don't have any of the, what do you call it? The cord locks yet. I got some coming in, and we'll make orders, and it'll be, then we'll start selling them. But when we put the cord locks in, you'll be able to adjust this tighter or looser. There's 2 AK mags. Then we go AR-15. Of course, if you use like the Ranger plates or whatever, you get a little bit more purchase on the AR-15 mags. But I'm gonna stuff that lid down inside, stuff the mag in real deep, right? That's how far down it goes. And then flap folds down just like that. But then, of course, we can fit 2 AR-15 mags. These are USGI mags. But wait, there's more. There's another one. Not sure if we can fit. How many P mags can we fit? Hang on, I'll be right back. Just random mags of match grade ammo laying around. Probably a good thing to have. But that's why I'm gonna put the cord locks on there so that you can adjust this, make it a little bit looser. But if you really wanted to, you could fit 3 AR-15 mags in there and still have retention. So anyways, that's what we came up with. The cool thing about this, I mean, besides the size and holding its shape and being able to carry bangs and shitload of mags with you, is the attachment system that we got here. So we got PALs, 4 lines, right? I got another one right here. We might sew that in, or I might just leave it the way it is. I'm gonna look at, but anyway, so you have pals right here. You use a malice clip to attach this to your kit, but also you have 2-inch sections, right? So 2 inches, 2 inches, and there is hook on that. So if you wanted to take like an SOE belt, where it has loop on the back of it, you could slide this through and it's going to hold secure on the belt using those 2-inch sections. So I'm pretty fucking happy about this. We're designing our chest rigs right now, and we're going to have a couple of them that are going to come with these pouches built onto the chest rigs. But we're also going to sell this as an individual product. I'm super happy. This is my favorite bag pouch of all time. Now, let me get back to the comments. Ariel, what's up? How you doing? Oh, she's putting the kids to bed. Now with the we're doing it with a shock cord on the sides, because when you do elastic, like you have to sew that into the sides, but also that elastic wears out and it breaks, and then you can't replace it. But with the shock cord, you can easily replace it. Like you can buy shock cord on Amazon, have it sent to your house, and it'll be fine if you were to break it. That also allows you, if you wanted to, you could weave tourniquets in on the sides right there. Oh, and there's also molly webbing right there. So if you wanted to attach pouches to the side, you could. But yeah, that's no shit my favorite mag pouch of all time. I'm very happy with it. Oh, Jacob's typing. I think we're about to get him on here. We'll see. I know our times are different. Yeah, that's my fuck up. All right, that's my fault. All right, looks like we're gonna get Jacob on here now. That's my fault. I didn't realize he's in a different time zone. I think for some reason I keep thinking the Carolinas, but I'm pretty sure he's in Kentucky. Should be fine. Try the phone. Let's see if I need to send the link again or anything. Oh wait, right here. This link. I think he's trying to get me to. Or what's happening here? I think he's trying to chat me on Instagram. My phone's slower than dog shit. Well, I got him on here now. Hey, bro. Can you hear me? Yeah, man. Hey, can you try hitting that link I sent you? I don't know if you have Zoom on your phone or not.
I'm on Zoom right now. It says the host will let you in soon.
Oh, okay, cool. All right, yeah, I've already got it streaming on to YouTube. My bad, dude. I screwed up the times. All right, let me see. Admit. There we go. All right, looks like we're rolling on this. This is my first time doing this, so I probably screwed it up. I wish I had Matt over here from Prepare Patriot send over my shoulder to make it work better. Let's see, you got your camera enabled. Oh, there we go. All right. Here, I'm gonna hang up on Instagram because I can't hear you on Zoom. Okay. And we'll see if that works. All right. All right. Well, I don't hear anything. People are probably looking at me like I'm a retard right now. I know I have all my volumes on and everything.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir. There we go.
That was weird. I'm new to Zoom and guess I didn't know how to use it.
Yeah, it's all good, dude. I've been a total clusterfuck on this whole thing. I was like, oh, I can figure this out 15 minutes before, and then I had to literally pull up a YouTube video to figure out how to get this working on YouTube. But we got it on YouTube right now. Came in a little bit late. Let me see how many people. I'm not even sure how many people we got, but we got Max Lozana. You know him. We got Matt O'Neill from Prepare Patriot. My wife is in the bedroom with the baby, but she's watching. We got Ariel on.
Yeah,
but, yeah, man.
I was thinking about the timeline, 8:30. I was like, that's perfect because I was getting ready right now to get the kids to bed, and I was gonna set up my laptop because it would probably be higher quality. But yeah, it is what it is. And my phone was charging, so I didn't see that you had invited me. So
oh, dude, that's my bad. That was shit poor playing on my part. But anyways, so I want there are people going to be watching this later, obviously, and you know how live streams work. So I want to get kind of like have you let people know who you are, what you've done, what companies you have, and then I'm going to be picking your brain hard on knives and stuff, and then love to talk about training with you too. So yeah, go ahead. What brought you into what you're doing now? Okay, kind of give your background, please.
Sure. Well, I guess my background was started in the military as 173rd Airborne as an infantryman. I deployed to Logar Province, Afghanistan. I was in personal security detail, but our platoon was the only movement element for the FOB or the COB, and so we were doing like a lot of stuff. Spent a lot of time on OPs. I was in 173rd, but I was 191 Cav, so it's really weird because I was in an infantry company. In a airborne cavalry unit doing a scout's job, kind of. So I did weird stuff. We did a lot of stuff with ODA. I did stuff with PSYOPs. I became a COIST commander. So I set up a team, and it was kind of my job to connect the commander on the ground to the S2 shop and military intelligence and make sure we were looking for the right things and getting information going back and forth properly. So anyway, after that, I got out because I hurt my back and infantry became under strength, so I couldn't change jobs. I got a degree in Homeland Security and domestic terrorism, and I'd always thought that I'd go, public sector when I got out and continue doing some kind of military thing here. And quickly decided that was the wrong way to go. So kind of started beach and tactical. I designed a rifle sling in Afghanistan. That's primarily what I do now is make rifle slings. I've started a knife business, Exodus Knife and Tool. I was at the boot camp for season 2 of Alone on the History Channel, so I know all the Alone guys pretty well. I do a lot of bushcraft stuff. And I guess I've got a kind of a unique perspective on tactics because I understand in the military, all of our tactics are based on having support
Mhm.
and having logistics. And so I understand that in the future we won't have that. And I kind of train and speak to people in a way where survival and bushcraft and self ownership are equally as tactical as what people traditionally consider to be tactical. So I go about things a lot different with that, and that's kind of how we got linked up, was through tactical response and that community. So here I am.
Yeah, I think I think it was funny because so like I make nylon gear. I remember seeing your video with Jaeger showing your sling whenever that was. I think I was still in the Marine Corps at that time. And I was like, man, I was like, that's badass. I want to make gear. Do you have one of your slings handy, by the way?
I don't. I really should. I actually, because of kind of the rush to get everything together, I don't have like anything at all.
Dude, I feel you.
Yeah, you could grab one for me. Just get the 308 by the dresser. So, anyways, yeah, she'll go get one, and I won't have her look for a knife, but yeah, we'll get that set up. But it's been a weird journey.
Yeah. You know, I like hearing about your military background. I'm like, damn, dude, like you got to do way cooler shit than I ever got to do.
It
And
might
then,
sound cool, but it wasn't, you know.
yeah, yeah,
But for all of us, even if you get to receive and return small arms fire, even if you're in a line unit that is getting engaged regularly, it's still 99.9% of the time you're just sucking.
yeah, yeah, staring out at nothingness.
And everybody has this fantasy about fighting where they're like on their couch and they're full and they feel good and they're like, yeah, I'd freaking do so hot right now. And it's like the reality is like you're exhausted, you're starving, you're sleep deprived, you have diarrhea, you're sick, and you're like, man, this sucks. That's like the reality of it. And that's people who armchair quarterback and fantasize about this stuff. You know, it's easy because they've never done anything.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's and even when you do it too, it's like you know the experience feels very different. Like you know, I had a 2 hour fight that it felt like 45 minutes, and it was legitimately that one. It was fun. The second one, I was like, holy shit, this is scary. You
Right.
know, but yeah, it's weird and like that. You know, like you say, if I were there, I would do this. You know, after you take the fight for the first time, you're like, shit changes. You know, even without it being live rounds. But
Right.
let's see where's that. Yeah, why don't you show off that sling? I don't know if you can keep the rifle out of it, just because YouTube might give me a strike or anything. But if
you kind of had it. I actually already had it in the video partially, and they might already.
that's yeah, no big deal.
I would forget about that, and I can't tell you how many live videos I've had taken down because I showed a gun, and I just forget every single time. Some of them are bangers too.
Oh, really?
I was like, yeah, this one turned out good. People are gonna like this. And I'm like, it doesn't go anywhere. I'm like, oh yeah.
Well, you get more attention than I do. Like I know what you were talking about in the live stream last time. Like you got legitimate fascists commenting on your shit now.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and so what's concerning to me is that a lot of these people, a lot of them don't know that they're fascist. And that's part of how communism and fascism spreads. But some of them do, and the ones that are, you know, they pop up, and they're people that you agree with or have agreed with every single day. And then they're like, oh yeah, oh, by the way, I don't really believe in human rights.
Yeah.
What? Like, we've been on the same page.
Oh, it froze up. I don't know if YouTube can still see me or if Jacob can still hear me, but video feed just froze up.
Z to own guns.
Oh, hey man. So it froze there for about 10 seconds. You're saying when you thought you're on the same page as someone and then you find out.
Yeah, and then you find out they don't believe in freaking human rights and they don't support the Second Amendment because they don't think X, Y, and Z should be able to have guns.
Right.
It's like, oh, weird. You guys are the same as the communists.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a different flavor though. Like, and should I don't know if I should say this or not. Probably not. Yeah, the fascists have a different flavor than the communists. They believe in traditional values, family values, typically, and but they don't believe in the free market. They don't believe in individual rights. So what's it matter?
Yeah, I haven't really dove deep into like what all fascism aligns with necessarily, right? Because like, I mean, people would say when I was in school that like Hitler was a fascist, but to me he was a socialist always, So I don't know, but I definitely see socialism leads to communism. So would you to say, without diving into nuances, that's kind of same thing with the fascists?
So to oversimplify this, you'll tell who the fascist is because they'll get pissed off when you say this. Okay. Fascism is just the step between socialism and communism. So basically what you have is you have a socialist economy, and as the government begins to create more and more regulations for private business, it gets to the point where only mega corporations can exist anymore because they're the ones directly aligned with the government. The government controls industry so tightly through regulation and taxation that government essentially owns business. Then when the switch is flipped to where the government is like, oh yeah, we actually own it now, publicly, like openly, we own it now. That's when that's the switch from fascism to communism. And so like one thing that I talked about, and it's a sore subject for a lot of people, but how Trump handled the COVID situation. Right. The fact that the government can tell you to shut down means that the government is fascist, because the government did not have the ability to have that much influence over private business.
Yeah, it sounded completely wrong. Like, do you ever listen to Andy Frisella, MFCEO Project or Real AF?
No.
You'd probably like them. There's a couple good episodes. I'll try to forward you one. But that's something you talk about. It's like to me, it's simple. Like I get it, some people have gotten hurt or killed during COVID and stuff like that. Not trying to downplay it, but if you're afraid, stay the fuck at home. That simple. We shouldn't be shutting down the country over it, especially not when we look at like what's going on in Australia. And I wanted to make a video talking about this, but I might as well just say it right now. There's a lot of people who do not buy into masks. They don't believe in them, right? I don't. There's a lot of people who don't believe in the vaccine. I don't. For a million different reasons, but without even going there, if you don't believe in it, you should not be compromising on it. If people stop compromising on it, I don't think this shit would get pushed as far as it has. And I agree. Like, I mean, shit, I would vote for Trump again for the memes, and I would vote for him again just for how he exposed so many people, because people went crazy when he was in. And it showed the reality of things, right? But no, he should not have been going along with Fauci. I can understand being worried about COVID in the beginning, but the shutdown and all that should not have gone as long as it did. Like, it should have been over quick. I don't know how it is. You're in Kentucky, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, here in Florida, man, where I'm at least, I'm out in the country. It's not bad. If a business tells me to wear a mask, I don't go back there, you know. But I mean, for me, I've been pretty damn free the whole time. So
We got locked down for a little bit. I mean, I was working at the time laying tile, so not much was different besides the fact that restaurants were closed.
mhm.
But you know, everybody thinks of Kentucky as being super conservative, but we elected a freaking full-blown communist as our governor, and we're keeping him. And there's enough. There's a massive population of traditional Democrats who are freaking knocking on freaking their deathbed right now in Kentucky, just dumber than stumps, who still believe in the Democrat Party, even though a lot of their views are conservative, because they still think that the Democrat Party is something that's not. But Kentucky has always been rife with just corruption and liberalism.
Mm.
So, you know, a lot of people are really pissed off with this Andy Bashir. We call him Bashitler. But, you know, he has a ton of support still, and it's crazy, man. It's really nuts. So, you know, Kentucky is the kind of state that joined the North in the Civil War so long as they could still have slaves.
Right. One of those pieces of history you won't hear about.
Right. Slavery became illegal in Kentucky in like 1974.
Crazy, man. Yeah. I mean, it's even like you know, because like people don't know about that. I think you were the first one I heard that from too on one of your videos. I think you mentioned that about 6 months ago, somewhere around there. But even like, you know, a lot of people don't know that like Abraham Lincoln was a Republican, you know, or that Martin Luther King also Republican, you know. But people don't get that. Even
they also don't realize that he said he didn't care whether he abolished slavery or not, as long as he could save the Union.
Yeah.
The Civil War was about taxation.
Yeah.
Slavery was a propaganda point, and really, the Civil War was fought over the same reasons that people want to fight another Civil War now. And what's crazy is people don't understand how psyops work and how the control of the narrative and information is, and yet they're glad that the South lost the war. It's like, you're so stupid that you're falling for the exact ignorant crap that would be used against you again and equally effectively. The entire country would be against you and would be glad when you were dead for the exact same reason that you're misled on the Civil War now. Is just blissful ignorance.
Yeah. And I think another thing, obviously, like people who want to comment on this later, none of us are pro-slavery or any retarded shit like that. But like another thing people aren't very aware of is like Sherman using total war, like burning crops and the war crimes that actually got committed in the South. A lot of craziness.
What the government has to do after it commits all of these war crimes on its own people is be like, hey, they were really bad people. And everybody's like, okay. Look at Waco. There are still people defending Waco to this day.
Yeah. It's crazy. Anyways, man, you want to show us that sling?
Oh. No 55301 webbing, and the end is a pull tab here. The adjustment point is at the center, and I kind of came up with this in Afghanistan because we had a certain popular brand of slings issued to us, But of course, all of the extra adjustment webbing had to be S-rolled and duct taped, so it'd be jump safe. And so, like, if it got caught on a piece of your gear or something like that, it just got caught. Like, I'd get so mad, so mad. And so I
Yeah.
was like, I want something where I can adjust it in the center, and I want a quick disconnect. And a couple of the Pogues got to wear their rifles on their back, and I was like, that looks fantastic, except it'd take them all day to get their rifle into action. So I wanted a quick transition. I used to sell a couple other sling designs that were more traditional, but they just never did all of that well. So basically, this is what I stuck with, is my main and most unique sling design here.
And then
so it's simple.
the 550 cord is going around webbing, right?
Yeah, and the 550 cord itself creates padding.
Yeah.
So it's soft and it's padded. I would say a AR-308 with a scope is on the top end of what's comfortable with these slings. If you're hauling around a bull-barreled rifle or a full-size FAL or something, I've actually got a guy who runs them with full-size FALs, but it starts to get to where you want to pad, you know.
Okay.
And when you get over 11 pounds, 12 pounds maybe, is where you start to want to have a more substantial sling. But super versatile, works great on a lot of different stuff. I run them on shotguns and rifles and run them in class and all kinds of stuff. I've got a lot of guys running them in class. I've got guys running them overseas, and a lot of cops. Cops actually like them the best. Cops and glowy boys, because they can put the rifle on their back basically instantaneously, tighten it, do what they need to do, but if they need to get back in action, they can have it back in action like that. So that was kind of the mindset. A lot of hunters like it too, but usually it works best if the sling is mounted on the side of the rifle. It still works great on the bottom traditionally, but works best on the side, and a lot of hunters don't do it that way. But anyway,
how much 550 cord do you have on there?
so it's 36 feet, about 36 feet.
God damn.
35. Yeah. So now if you get two colors of paracord like this, they're fused at the bottom, but that's not a 550-pound fuse. So for this, you'd have 4 9-foot sections, you know, if you get the two colors of paracord. But yeah, you know, it's a good little bit of paracord. And if you use the paracord, you still have a working sling. So if you always use one side of the sling and you need paracord, you just use the paracord off the other side, and you're good to go. You still have a sling to run. If you have to use both sides, you still have a sling. It's not as padded, but you know, it's an easy way to carry a lot of extra cordage.
That's badass, dude. How long does it take you to make one?
It depends. The 2-color paracord is all over the place, because although the paracord meets, you know, whatever mil spec it is they meet, there's still little variations, and some of them are really hard to fuse. And sometimes I'll just sit there and fight for like a long time with one section of paracord. But in general, I'd say around an hour to make a sling, and then plus shipping time or whatever. But
Dude, that's a lot of work. Do you have a sewing machine too?
I have I don't have like a commercial Juki. I have a Sailrite. So it's a booty sling, but it's closer to a normal sewing machine than it is a commercial machine for what I'm using it for.
No, I think I haven't used a Sailrite, but everything I've seen by them, that those are good to go. You know,
they're bulletproof, they're just slow.
What's that?
I said they're bulletproof, they're just slow.
Yeah.
So before I tried buying like some heavy duty sewing machine from Walmart or a sewing shop, I don't even remember the brand. But you know, I'd go through a sewing machine in 6 months or less.
Yep.
And the tool right now has been going for years. I mean, it's a tank. It's beefy. But it's not fast, and I'm not fast. I used to make some pouches and a little bit of gear, And I was like, I can't make money doing this.
Yeah. So, yeah, I remember you talking about the backpack. You're like, if you offer me $300 for this, I'd tell you to fuck off.
There's no chance. I would, if I were to make that pack for $300, I'd lose so much money.
Yeah, it's funny too because people will bitch about prices or ask for like discounts and stuff. I don't know about you. I get real annoyed when people ask me for discounts, and I'm like, no, that's fucking price what it's worth. I'm like,
Yeah.
You want to go buy a machine, material, and figure out how to make this and then produce it, then I'll help you out. But it's like this thing. I was up till 3 a.m. designing it, and then today I just cranked one out, and I think it's good. I don't know. I'm gonna play with it, but
people don't understand how long. Like people just see the product took an hour to make. You made this amount of money. You had this amount of cost. People somehow don't think that like you have to pay for where you live and food and bills and everything else. But also they don't understand like you have to order all of the materials. If materials are out of stock, you have to find alternative sources and like R&D time. Like that little pouch that I made was so simple, but I made like 50 prototypes of it.
yeah.
Before I had it to where I wanted it. And then once all of that's said and done, you know, I worked on it for like, you know, maybe I had freaking 2 weeks labor when I got to the final product. Then still, it probably took me 2 hours to make one of these little pouches that I was selling for 50 or 60 bucks. And I was like, to heck with this. So I started having a couple other little shops make them for me. But that's hard too. So
Do you still have those in production right now?
no, I got him with one small shop. I don't think he's going to make them because he hasn't mentioned anything about it in a long time. I sent him one of my finished models and some drawings and mock-ups and stuff. So I'll find someone to make them, but I'm just not all that motivated to do it because, you know, I'll pay a lot of money up front to get them all done. And then I'll sell them. I'll charge 100% on profit. So, you know, double whatever I pay for it. And then they'll take 6 months or a year to sell. It's like,
oh yeah. Yep.
like,
Yeah. That's like, I'm about to make it so that like anything that's not a sling, fucking, that's a custom made thing. You're going to wait. Speaking of which, if you're watching right now, you ordered a black backpack. I'm going to keep my ass up all night because I just got in the material for it to make it, assuming it's in that box. I haven't opened it yet.
That's dedication. Even my slings are that way. And, you know, I just had, I think the first time ever, I had a guy cancel his sling order because he's 5 weeks out. Bye.
Yeah.
Like, what's up, buddy? You want a drink? Oh, okay. You want to be on the video, buddy? All right, come on. You got to come up here with daddy. Oh, wash your hands. Here's your drink. Come on. I got a gun up here because I had to show off my sling, buddy.
What?
Yep. Yeah. Yeah, look at the camera. Come on up here closer.
Hey, buddy. Thanks for joining us.
Say hi, Andrew. Come on, up on Daddy's lap, all the way.
What's your name, buddy?
What's your name?
Bob.
Bob? Your name's Bob?
Hi,
Really?
Bob. I'm Andrew.
Are you sure? Why?
Well, Dad calls him Bob.
Oh, I guess Grandpa calls him Bob.
There's a Bob in my pants.
You got Bob on your pants, and your uncle is Bob, right? But what's your name?
Bob.
Bob it is.
Yeah, right on.
Me, boy. He told me Bob.
Yeah, Papa does call you Bob, huh?
Mhm.
I guess. So anyways, yeah, man, I don't know. I can't, I'm like, right now I'm trying to get caught up on sling orders, but with the, I've got probably 12 or 15 different sling color options.
Yeah.
And then I've got probably 12 or 15 different paracord options and 4 buckle options. So there's literally thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of possibilities, especially when you add in 2 colors of paracord, there's got to be hundreds of thousands. And
Right.
I can't keep anything in stock right now. I'm hoping I was doing a ready to ship and it's had nothing in it for like 2 months.
Mm.
And when that dude wanted a refund, I had, I mentioned it and someone would send me an email like, hey, I'll take a sling and I'll pay an extra 50 for it.
Oh, that's awesome.
I didn't charge him the extra 50, but
Yeah, that's badass. That's like, I don't know. It's like I think about like when I watch John Willis show on video, and I'm like, this dude is insane. How fast he can move. He can build a whole pouch in 4 minutes. Like, the dude is an animal. Ridiculous. You ever get to? I assume you got to meet John, right?
yeah. He's there. I can't. The first time I went to the shop, I was looking at the stacks of webbing and I was like, yeah, I'll get there one day. And now I'm like, nah, not gonna get there. That's okay. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with not getting there.
Just hire people. You'll get there.
That's the thing is I don't want to hire anybody.
Yeah, I feel you.
I'd rather OEM stuff out and pay a contractor to make product for me to sell than hire people. But the other thing, I'd rather sell everything in cash and be freaking unemployed and a hobo on the books too. So
yeah, I feel you. I've already started dressing the part.
yeah, you and me both for sure. When
So,
I was at the show with Jaeger, I was the only guy there at SHOT Show that I saw, the only one wearing multicam pants. It
you were
must
the
have
only.
been it must have been before it was cool, because I feel like now everybody at SHOT Show would be wearing multicam pants. But
Yeah, I was actually at a range opening today, and I was like, I don't know, because it's like, I don't know. I mean, for Marines, we are always like we like it was a part of the culture to like reject wearing anything camo. But then like I go to this range opening and everyone's wearing they're wearing woodland and shit. Like, but yeah, it's become a definite thing now. So let's talk about Exodus Knife and Tool. How many knives you got out right now?
I only have 2 models out. We're getting the final pre-production prototypes of the 3rd model out in this batch. And I'm hoping next year to release another model. The thing is, so far, we're only about a year into it. I can't keep anything in stock. I get 100, 120 knives, whatever, and they sell out in like an hour. And so that's going to change, I think, next year, because every U.S. major dealership and the only distributor that we work with in Taiwan and Europe just picked up both of my designs.
Wow.
So that my manufacturer is going to be making way more of my knives, which means I'm going to have access to way more of my knives. So I can't wait for that, because it's been hard, man. And especially with COVID and everything like that. Like, I did a pre-order and I thought I was going to have those guys' knives to them months ago. And I kept saying, we're almost there. I saw some of my knives basically ready to ship, a long time ago when I went up there this summer. but getting the whole order done, there's just been a lot of difficulties, and pre-orders are too stressful. I have the best customers, everybody's cool, but I'm not gonna do them anymore. Too stressful for me.
Yeah, just kind of like show what you got and be like, all right, there's 200, buy them now or wait.
Well, what I'd like to do is I'd like to put in an order for like 400 knives and then release like 50 a month
Mm.
in different colors,
Oh yeah.
50 knives total. So probably 30 or 35 adventure crafts and 15 or 20 jackalopes. And, have each of these sets of knives have different handle and finish colors and options. Like, hey guys, if you want this knife in these colors, get it, because I'm not going to have them again in a long time. Kind of keep things a little bit fresh that way. But it always sounds like the money's good when I talk about the sales, but if it's only every 8 months or a year, it's not so good.
Well,
But like I said, hopefully next year it'll be different.
I'll tell you what, man, though, the fact that you got people, like a dedicated group out there buying your stuff, following you, watching your videos, commenting on them, like that's pretty awesome, man. Like, you've done a great job. And especially since you can put out a product and it just gets bought up, that's badass.
Well, I'm a devoutly a follower of Christ, and I believe with the knives, that's what's going on, because the owner of DLT Trading, when I was at the booth, bought one of my knives. I was like, hey, I just want you to know that I'm buying this knife at full MSRP to carry for myself. My designs so far were meant to be, hey guys, hey, quiet down. My designs were meant to be incredibly simple and utilitarian with no frills or anything, and people lose their minds over them. I love them, but I don't really expect something that I love for everybody else to love too, because that's usually not how things work. But with the knives, it is. And they were the best-selling knives for White River at Blade Show. They sold out first.
Dude,
It's not even so much me and my following. Like, people found out about me through my knives at the White River booth and then wanted to come find me and get pictures with me as the designer.
that's cool.
It's crazy. It's amazing. It's a blessing. It's beyond what I've earned. I think the knives are incredibly utilitarian. I think all of the value and everything is there for them to compete with any other knife in their category in the market, but the amount that people like them is beyond that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's amazing. It really is just flat out amazing.
So, and your design is kind of like, I could screw this up because I'm just like, I don't know much about knives. Okay. but it is based around being able to do bushcraft, correct?
For the most part. Yeah.
Okay. So,
bushcraft is kind of a hard term because different people define it in different ways. But the reason that I named my flagship knife the Adventure Craft is I think that bushcraft should mean that you make the tools, you craft the tools that you need in the bush. It's my definition of bushcraft. But if you look at people who are into bushcraft, that's not how they look at it at all. So the reason I named it the Adventure Craft is I think bushcraft should be what you do on an adventure, whether you're hunting or anything else that you're doing. Along the way, when you need something, you have the skills to make it, even if it's just a fire, whatever. And that's kind of what it's about. And the people who are really into bushcraft, which I do this myself, but they go out on an adventure to bushcraft. But that's not the practical use of the skill set. And so my Adventure Craft is kind of an everyday carry bushcrafty knife. It's not a Scandi grind. It's more practical, I think, than the traditional bushcraft knife. It's got a tougher edge. It's lighter. It's easier to carry. It's better for more things. And then the jackalope is more of a traditional, just a belt knife, man. Just
Yeah.
a practical knife. First and foremost, there's so much marketing, and it's gotten to the point where there's so much gimmick behind the term bushcraft. There's none of that in the designs. But their practical application, is they're not combat knives. The only thing more gimmicky or filled with bull crap than the bushcraft community is the tactical community when it comes to knives.
Oh, really?
It's silly. But what makes a black finish in serrations tactical, or a saw on the back of your knife?
Or a Punisher skull.
In fact, I've got a whole series on YouTube. I'm pretty sure black is not tactical.
Okay. All right.
It is what it is, man. We're in the age of freaking coyote tan and OD green.
Yeah, I get I just started doing knife training, and you've been doing some knife fighting, right?
A little bit.
You're doing Collie, right?
It's a mixture. So there's a group in Winchester, Rob Cabrera of Philo Blade Works and Double Star Blades does something called Goon Rules, and so he's been training with a lot of Filipino dudes, but he's been training with some different styles of knife fighting, and it's kind of bringing it together to do his own thing. So
Okay.
I would say pretty Filipino based. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. The stuff I've been doing, it's based off Collie, and then I have it in my notebook, and I forget, but it's a couple different families and their martial arts stuff. But anyways, the simple thing is I've been finding like the simple ass K-bar, being able to hook like this, being able to have a flat side. I mean, I don't know much about knives, but I'm probably a little bit, bigger than I'd want to carry every day. But having an on kit is actually pretty good. And I don't know, because I look at the Crombits and some of those, the ones where it's real skinny and you put your finger through the hole, and I'm like, that feels like a nightmare to hold on to. But I don't know.
I think a lot of it, there's something to it with karambits and stuff. They were very effectively used in India, I believe. And I think Cooper himself had to deal with that a lot. And it was a big problem.
Which Cooper? Are you saying Jeff Cooper, or who are you talking about? Oh, really? Oh, I didn't know that.
I'm like 99% sure. Yeah. In fact, I think that was a big part of what led him to developing the OODA loop and a bunch of other stuff. Because the dudes, they were getting into firefights all the time and stuff, but dudes would show up out of nowhere for a fight too with a karambit that you couldn't see. So I could be mixing up Jeff Cooper a little bit with Sykes
Boyd?
and Fairbairn, but I'm pretty sure Cooper had to deal with that.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I don't know that side, but I will say OODA loop came from Boyd.
Well, this is getting embarrassing.
It's all right. It's all right, man. Dude. Hey, I spent the whole beginning of the live stream going, is this shit working? No, don't worry, man.
Well,
it's all good. Believe me, I forget people's names that I talk to every day.
well, I know that that I believe it was Colonel Sykes.
Okay, I don't know who he is though.
So, are you familiar with the Sykes Fairbairn dagger?
No.
the British, oh man, I need to grab it, but I can't. The British World War II general issue fighting knife is just a very, very slender dagger. And it's what the British commandos used. It's a very traditional thing for them over there.
Does it ever get referred to as a stiletto?
No, but it kind of could be. You've got kind of the right idea.
Okay.
I wish I had like a smartphone here so I could like.
Two
Show-
blade, or excuse me, double-sided blade, long and thin.
Yep.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. I think I know where that one is.
But I know that he dealt with it specifically as well. There's some interesting videos on YouTube. One in particular of a British commando World War II vet talking about how to use these daggers and how to fight with them. But anyways, karambits were a big issue. Any of these implements are incredibly effective in the hands of the people that train with them a lot. But the roots of every knife martial art comes from the knives that people had for the most part. Like, and the roots of almost every martial knife design starts with farm implements.
Oh yeah.
So, you know, at the end of the day, especially for tactical knives, it's just like anything else, you know, freaking mindset, tactics, skills, gear.
Yeah.
If you were to meet up 200 years ago with one of these Filipino dudes, and you had the most whiz-bang knife on the planet, and he had whatever farm implement he was carrying, he'd freaking cut you up.
Yeah.
Like your ultra freaking tactical anal perforator is not going to be what saves the day. So that's what's so silly about a lot of tactical knives. Like you said, the K-bar works fantastic, but like, what are some things in a tactical knife that you might want? Well, a tip that's not blunt, which most people don't realize how many knives come with blunt tips for bush use. A little bit of a finger guard is nice. A sharp edge, a good geometry, maybe a little bit of extra handle.
Yeah.
It's a very vague couple of things that are handy, and yet this entire market of 150,000 knife designs that are black and sell based on aesthetics have become what defines a tactical knife. And it's the same with bushcraft, and that's what I was getting away from. But like Rob Cabrera with My Adventure Craft would perforate me if I had his big old doggone Fury machete. It's just the way it is. Of course, and of course that we're saying mindset is equal if we're talking about any conflict. And but more importantly with tactical knives, what's even more important than that is the knife fight is a fantasy. The like, I'm Jacob and you're Andrew, we're gonna square up and fight to the death with a knife. It's never how this has really worked.
No.
Maybe in a bar it used to work that way, but as a rule, if you get into a knife fight as a good guy, you've already been stabbed. And if you need to kill somebody and you have a knife, you go and you kill them. It's not a knife fight. And that's what I think really at the end of the day, probably the most tactical thing about any knife is, can you wear it where you need it, when you need it? How quickly can you draw it? How well can you conceal it? Those things are way more important than anything about the knife.
Yeah.
So anyways, but yeah, that's just the knife industry is weird, man. It's a weird industry filled with weird people. That's why I'm so deeply involved in it. And, 99.9% of people who buy even decent knives will never really use them.
Yeah.
And that has caused like stagnation in the market, because if K-Bar made the knife that you have now and they modernized the tang design, they could completely eliminate the knife's problems. But they'll never have to, because it wouldn't sell as well anyways, and nobody cares. Oh crap, I'm showing gun. All right, my bad.
Oh, I didn't know.
It was just an angle. It's like a little nip slip over there. I was like, oh crap. Set it off. But the K-Bar with the stick tang has a 90-degree angle where the tang meets the guard, and it works until it doesn't. So if you were to take the leather handle off and you were to take that guard off, there's a thin piece of metal going down through the middle. Yep. And where that meets at the guard, there's a 90-degree angle. And you can use that knife with no problems. Maybe for 20 years, you could use it every single day, but you're going to be building microfractures at that 90-degree angle. And at some point, probably according to Murphy's Law, when you really, really, really need it, it's going to give up. Yep. And it's going to go from feeling like a normal knife, and then all of a sudden you're going to feel something kind of weird, and then you're going to have a handle in your hand, and you're like, huh.
Yeah, that's fine.
So, but K-Bar doesn't have to change it, and it wouldn't even financially make sense for them to change it, because it wouldn't sell as well.
Yep.
They wouldn't make money off of it. They wouldn't get their R&D money back. They wouldn't, so, and it's the same with the gun community. I don't need to tell you. It's the same crap. Everybody's looking for freaking the next thing to sell to people in the next grip zone,
Yeah. It was funny when I was working at a gun shop, and this guy, he showed me the most Gucci Glock you could ever imagine. And he was talking about how N-Force, put his picture on Instagram because he put an N-Force on it and shit. And like literally, he bragged about having $3,500 into this gun. And I was like, oh, you like nice triggers? Check out this mechanic, And he didn't understand. He said, he pressed the trigger, dry fired, and he went, has no reset. He didn't understand that the slide has to cycle before it resets. Like, fucking blows my mind. But now, so we're both tactical response alumni, and I believe it was you had a friend that wanted to bring you with to go take fighting rifle, right?
No, it started out with active shooter.
Oh, active shooter. Okay. So you did. So what would you think going into that? That was your first commercial training class, right?
So I was kind of intimidated, because although I knew that I'm going there to learn, I probably have the skills to do fine and everything. Like, I don't enjoy being around people who are going somewhere to prove something, and that's what I expected to find. Because everybody would be there, dick measuring, and I was like, this is going to kind of suck. I didn't know who Jaeger was. I didn't know what tactical response was. I just like, I've been out of the military for a while, and I need to do some training.
So wait, what year did you get out?
2013.
Holy shit, I would have been one of your boots, man. That's crazy. What year did you go take your first class?
Ryan, did I go with Jaeger to SHOT in 2015, or no? I got out in 2013. Did I go to, was it 15 or 16? I went with them to SHOT.
I'm gonna say 15.
So my
because
first,
I'm pretty sure I was still in the Marine Corps when I saw your stuff. when I saw your video with Jaeger.
which was after shot. No.
Okay. It would have been 2015 then.
I have no idea. Around 15.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, the class wasn't what I expected. Everything was great. And I knew I needed to come back. I've been blown away. I remember that my best man at my wedding is now a SOCOM guy. But when we were in, he wanted to go do a competition at another school, whatever.
Mhm.
And I was like, dude, you want to spend our freaking free time to go ruck and suck and shoot? What?
Yeah.
And now I appreciate it so much more. But I've also seen like how much some training facilities like suck. So being that I went to tactical response like completely with no idea what it was, who Jaeger was, or anything. Talk about freaking I don't believe in luck, but being lucky, you know.
Mhm.
Because if I went to some trash class with some trash instructor, I've been just been like, man, I don't need this training. This freaking sucks. Screw these guys.
Right. And it's kind of funny too, because like, you know, when I tell people about like my classes and stuff, they'll be like, "Oh, I already know how to shoot." Like, it's not just about keeping the gun still while you press the trigger. Like shooting's the easy part. Fucking, I walk up when I RSO at the range I train people at. I'll walk up someone brand new. I'll get them hitting 100 yards with a pistol, like that, you know. And I do that to make myself better. But it's like it's not that. That's not the big deal. But it's cool. It's cool doing stuff like that at the actual response, because the classes they're very different, and it's not what people expect them to be, you know, like fighting classes and the stuff of the mindset built into it, like the lessons you learn, you know, that aren't on the DVDs, that aren't on the YouTube videos, and that like you take away personally, like in the fight, you know, the self-reflection and you know, you said it better in your review, and then I got corrected when I posted it on the alumni that it's a test. I phrased it as a class, but yes, it is a test. And yeah, so you did active shooter, and then you came back.
Yeah, for a way of the pistol.
Way of the pistol, right on.
And so what was crazy about that is I was the first sponsor for American Gun Chick.
Yeah. I was watching. Ashley and I were watching her videos. We just sent her some gear.
Yeah. And so then I showed up to class and she was there.
Uh-huh.
We didn't plan it, just nothing. It just so happened that she was also taking way of the pistol. And what was amazing about that, I took way of the pistol, is a game changer for me.
Yeah.
Not like it was a game changer for her.
Yeah.
I
think that was her first time taking training too, right?
Yeah. It was amazing. So, but, you know, she went from, we're not, in class, I don't compare myself to anybody else. And I don't care to look at somebody else's target, but I'm also not going to be weird about it. Like, she went from shooting all over the target and looking scared of the gun
Mm-hmm.
to leaving looking like a shooter.
That's badass.
It was amazing. One of the things I was concerned about with any training was before I took the training, I got the pistol dynamics from Magpul.
Hell yeah.
I liked the first DVD. And I don't think we're supposed to say stuff like this like professionally, but I'm not very professional. But in the second DVD, when the guy's talking about brandishing a weapon, I was like, this dude's a faggot, and I'm not watching the rest of this because the mindset was totally dicked.
What did he say?
He's talking about he was talking to a cop, and he was like, yeah, you know, if you're printing wrong, that could be considered brandishing, right? And the guy's like, no, brandishing is an act. Like it's you pull your gun out and brandish it. And he's like, oh well, you know, you need to make sure blah 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 blah. And I'm like, this dude's trying to make people scared to carry.
Yeah.
The mindset there is the freaking pacifist coward carrier. And I'm not going to go to a training like that. So when the tactical response mindset being worked into classes and seeing good mindset being taught to people, I'd never seen that anywhere. I always felt like I was alone in my way of thinking. So seeing instructors and curriculum actually built around it, I was just like, this is the place.
Yeah, it was no, man, the Magpul DVDs, like when I was in Marine Corps, I saw those. My dad sent them to me, and that was my first time going, oh shit, there's like cool stuff outside of what I'm doing. I thought I'm top dog, fucking I enlisted to be infantry and fucking I wanted the hard shit and all that. But now I was like, oh man, these guys are fucking running circles around me. I don't remember the brandishing thing or whatever, but then my buddy was like, you should watch Jaeger. And I started watching him. And at the time I was like diving deep into, you know, what's the best trigger to put in my gun and all that shit. And like, you know, how do you stipple and all that? And then he challenged every part of my way of thinking on that. And it turned me around. So I guess maybe you were stepping into it more already aligned, but he aligned me, so to speak.
Well, no, I mean, I showed up to tactical response with a customized 1911.
Oh, yeah.
I ran a lot of classes with that 1911. I talked to Jaeger a lot about that 1911. And now I carry bone stock Glocks. And it's transferred a lot into ARs for me. And I try and do these videos for people getting into shooting, like telling them like, you stop buying this stuff. Go get trained, go shoot. I'm sure you hear this a lot. Everybody's like, well, you don't need to change too much. My suggestion is the first upgrades that you make should be simple. Bolt carrier group, barrel, trigger. What? First off, the mil-spec trigger is fantastic. Not if you compare it to everything else available on the market, not if you compare it to all the aftermarket stuff that's available, but like if you look at triggers historically across designs across the world, a mil-spec AR trigger is fantastic. A bolt carrier group is a wear item, so if it's not causing if it's not wrong, have a backup, but don't replace it. Why?
Yeah.
You get nothing. A barrel, it's a wear item. Shoot it out. You're not going to get more accurate in a fight with an AR buying a barrels. There's too many cheap ARs out there that'll do one MOA.
Yeah. And one MOA, like people want that shit too accurate, you know, like, you know, military says 4 MOA and really that's not bad. I mean, that's headshots at 200 yards.
Right.
You know, it's not horrible. If you have it, when I took Don Edwards' DMR SPR class, he said straight up, he's like, hey, if you're shooting 2 MOA, you're good. I believe that. I think that's plenty good for like a designated marksman rifle. I mean, you're not gonna be as precise, but sometimes people will spend like $2-3 grand trying to make their group go from this to this. And then they'll get a second job picking up brass and reloading to make it go from this to this.
And then if they have to shoot, move, communicate, kill, they don't know how to put one foot in front of the other.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it really comes down to marketing. It's the same with knives, man. Look, I make this speed sling. I really like my design. I really believe in my design. I use my slings. And I tell people, like, look, you can transition from wearing, you can adjust this instantaneously on your back for comfort. And at any point you have it adjusted, you can be firing accurately within 2 seconds.
Mhm.
Right? So, you know, then, you know, and I believe every single piece of what I say, but does that mean that that should be the requirement for a sling, right? So then someone's like, oh, I was going to buy XYZ sling, but can you transition from your back in under 2 seconds? Your sling's 3.5 seconds. And then the other manufacturer comes out, right? The new super speed sling transitions in 1.5 seconds. Oh, throw my speed sling in the trash. 1.5 seconds. That's what it's marketing, right? Okay,
Yeah.
I get it. You make a product.
Oh, it timed out. Oh, what's going on? Let's see. Brand Davis, what's up, man? Waiting on, I don't know what happened to Jacob. There we go. Hey, it timed out. We were talking about people throwing slings in the trash because it's not fast enough.
Yeah, it's just, well, people they have no practical application. They're lacking wisdom, and they're just trying to buy what's best because it's fun and it's easy.
Mhm.
It's gratifying. It's instant gratification. But, you know, they'd be better off going and getting classes and learning how to shoot with a piece of paracord tied to their gun.
Yep. Yeah, for real, man. Or the old school canteen strap like they were doing in Knob, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, it's funny you're talking about the speed is, I see a lot of people using timers, right? Like I see it at the range all the time. And of course it's always online. And, yeah, like people, they'll do malfunctions clearing on a timer and stuff. And it's like, yeah, I guess you want to be able to do everything fast. But the funny thing is with all that, you never see them using a timer when they apply a tourniquet. You never see them doing that shit. You just don't see it happen, you know? So it's like, and people will talk about their draw stroke and like, oh, you should just use one hand clearing the shirt and all this, blah, blah, blah. And the speed. It's like, dude, like, yeah, there's, I don't want to be giving away a thing from class, but like, I remember in the fight, the first time I drew my gun, it was just like, oh, and it was there, you know, like I didn't even think about it. But yeah,
I've been there in real life.
yeah.
All of a sudden you're like, you're in a bad situation. And they're like, never mind. Anyways, so, I don't know. It's crazy, man. But, you know, you're talking about one hand, two hand. I was doing a video, I think 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago in Milcert Czechoslovakian winter jacket. I was talking about the importance of like you're wearing different clothes, carry your gun the same way, train the same way, but as you put those different clothes on, train with them. Wear your winter gloves, wear that jacket, go out and shoot. And so it was the first time I'd done it because I hadn't been wearing the jacket before that. I put the jacket on for the video. It was actually a little bit too hot out for the jacket, but I wanted to make the point with the jacket because it was big and bulky. Put the jacket on and I went out there, and when I went to draw, I just ripped the zipper right in half. And noticing it, but I was pulling, there's resistance, I'm still pulling, I draw, and boom, my jacket's zipper is destroyed. But like, I don't know, how do military guys forget about Murphy's Law when they're measuring their dicks? You know what I mean? And when they're talking about tactics and stuff.
Yeah.
It ain't gonna go
You-
right. Don't count on it going right. Count on it going wrong.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. That something I always say is people envision and they talk like, again, saying, oh, if I was there, I'd do this. People, or, people say, well, if you need more than this many around during a bad situation or shit like that. And so people, lots of times they game for a best case scenario. It's the way I always phrase it. But really, again, like you said, it's just going to go wrong. What's the worst case scenario? What's gonna go wrong? And how do we avoid that? Now, so you've touched on this in videos, and like I've tried to preach it to like my buddies I served with and shit too, and just describing it, just to vets in general. But the difference between what is the differences between commercial training in the civilian market versus the training you receive while in the military? What are some of the big points there?
Well, to me, there's two main points. The first main point is that in military training, you are training for tactics that are practical with team movements, logistical support, etc. Right? And for any kind of civilian contracting, any kind of civilian training, even if you go to contractor classes, you're never going to have that logistical support. So you have to have a different type of training. That's the less important side of it. And that's more the tactics and mindset side of how they're different. The more important side of it, number two here, is that in the military, you are being trained by someone who doesn't want to be there, who wants to punch the clock out because it's always 0 beer 30, who hates his job, hates his chain of command, and hates you. And you and all of your buddies hate him, probably hate your chain of command, hate your training. Everything that you're doing is stupid and you know it. They forgot to bring chow out. And you just want to get off and go have 0 beer 30. Because no matter what you do, you're all getting paid the same, right? So the training quality is not there in the military. I did classes with ODA when I was deployed. I tell you what, I did CLS in 2009 for the first time in basic training, okay? And they told you to place a tourniquet 2 fingers above the arterial bleeding.
Damn.
Or above the next joint. 6 months later, I did TCCC with ODA and got taught the right way to do a tourniquet.
Mm-hmm.
So why, when what you're training costs nothing different, do we have stupid boy training from Vietnam for all of our regular guys, and then ODA has good training, but there's no financial difference between the two. It's just what people are saying, right? Your training quality comes down to the personal motivation and bureaucracy of your chain of command and their budget. So normal line unit CLS was literally getting people are killed. And there are still EMTs and people in the community who go by those original CLS rules of 2 inches above the wound and stuff, getting people killed, morons. Then you go up to ODA, right? And TCCC at that time, and this is 6 months apart, and learn the right way to do it. And then you get private training where you actually pay to go there and your instructor wants to be there and they actually have the tools to make things more realistic. And they actually make sure that you do a nasopharyngeal. And even though it's the same curriculum, because immediate action medical was exactly as I learned at TCCC, you still learn way more and you have more hands-on. And I actually had gotten through my entire time in the military without doing a nasopharyngeal or having one done on me.
All right.
Has everybody gone? Yep. Pearson, you go? Oh, yeah, I did it to him. Yeah.
Bro, I did that same shit. I was like, I watched that, I went, fuck that. No.
That's
But
the difference between military and private.
you know, I still have to do another one though, because Ashley, my wife and I, we did them on each other. And neither of us could get them in, so we may have been resisting causing each other pain, or I'm pretty nasally and it doesn't work for me. We got the mouthpieces for each other though, so we got that.
Mariah and I did them on each other. She didn't.
Oh,
really
really?
do them.
Did you get
Yeah.
them in?
Yeah.
Right
Yeah,
on. Yeah, I don't know.
Like
Maybe we're
a
just being
dozen
pussies
on her,
about it. But I had a fucking killer headache for a while after it. Yeah, you know, one thing I did notice, the difference, like, okay, when you learned in CLS in the military, did you guys learn how to reset the tourniquets the way they show you a tactical response after you practice with it?
Hard to say, man. It's a long time ago. The
Because
only thing that really stuck out to me was the difference in placement. But again, I was a private who really didn't want to be there. So anything that didn't really stand out to me, I don't really remember the specifics of it.
okay, yeah, because the differences I saw was well, the types of tourniquet, you know, that's kind of a different subject. But as far as application, like say with a cat, keeping your head up as you do it, moving, looking around, that was not something that we did. Because again, we think tactical context with military versus civilian. And then also dressing it at the end, the way that they taught us to do it. I don't remember learning it that way. And then resetting them. And it's funny because like now in my classes, the first, and I might move it somewhere else in the class, but what we've been doing is the very first thing we do in class is learn how to do self-aid with tourniquets. And I've had EMTs, Army medics, cops, and none of them learned it that way, where you're not looking at it, how to address it at the end, and then also how to actually reset the tourniquets. For a while, and I learned resetting it at tactical response. For a while, I hated the cat tourniquet because I thought it takes too many winds, but that's because we never reset or practice ones properly. So yeah.
You know what's funny too is all the people that hate racks. If you get that on, if they put that on you, you'll have nerve damage. Really, how long does it take you to get nerve damage? Right away if it's properly applied. I mean, it's weird because like I've had it on in class with no circulation for like 15 minutes while going through drills, and guess what? I have no nerve damage, and nobody else has any nerve damage either.
Yeah, it's one of, like Jaeger said, the only place it doesn't work is on the internet. Totally true, man. It's funny because like people come to class and that we teach the rats and then we teach windlass style cat, and those are only two we use. But some people, geriatrics, older people, their hands are not strong enough to tighten the windlass, but they are strong enough to get that rats on. You know, like one of the things I like about how small it is, like I've always got at least one on me. Always, right. You know, right. Generally two, and then a recon around my ankle. But yeah, they're great for the size, the simplicity, getting it on. I can teach anyone how to get on. The only problem I have with them is sometimes they don't get the wrap touching, so they can get compartmentalization. But then one-handed on the leg, I have no clue how to do that. That sounds impossible with the rats. I just don't know how to do one-handed on a leg. I mean, you're pretty crazy situation if you have to do it, but again, worst case scenario. But yeah, lots of people will come to class and they'll be like, I heard bad stuff. And then I'm like, we put it on. It's like, yeah, dude, it works. It's fine. Like,
well, the other thing that people need to consider is a catch doesn't fit on a dog.
Yeah.
And the catch doesn't fit on a baby, a small child, or an elderly skeleton person.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And, you know, I've got animals on my property that I'm probably more likely to put a tourniquet on than a person.
Yeah.
I don't know in the training community if I should publicly say that, but it is what it is.
Well, you've got your priorities, right? You've got your family, you've got your livestock. It's a part of your priorities. I got the same thing. Me, family, maybe friends.
If something's going to be hemorrhaging, it's probably going to be one of these animals because they got into a fight or got stuck on something. I mean, that's the most likely source of hemorrhaging. And, most of them I'd put a tourniquet on. Some of them I wouldn't. But the cat's not going to work.
Yeah.
I prefer the cat for most stuff. I like it. But I carry the rats because it's small, it's compact, and it's going to work on whatever I need it to work on. Except for there are a couple dudes with thighs too big for the rats, but you're not going to find them in regular society. Like if you can only get 2 rats of that rats around it, you ain't gonna do it.
Yeah, I honestly hate wearing a rats on my leg so much that I'm like, I gotta have a windlass with me too,
Well, some of these, I do some strongman stuff. Some of these dudes have thighs that are bigger around than my torso.
Holy shit.
And rats ain't gonna do it.
No.
Ain't gonna do it. But that's not really what you prepare for. Like, just it is what it is.
Yeah.
So,
Well, all right, man. I think we've gone over like an hour longer than I was trying to have you here. I really appreciate it, dude. I'd love to have you back whenever you're free. If you don't mind closing it out, go ahead, give all your channels and websites and stuff.
Sure. Well, my YouTube channel is the Preppers Bunker Outdoors. If you're around long enough on YouTube on my channel, I'll piss you off. Doesn't matter who you are. And my rifle slings and gear I sell on beachandtactical.com. And my knives, when I freaking have them, are on Exodus Knife and Tool. And I'm telling you, everybody asks me to send them a message when I'm getting knives in stock or something like that, like hundreds of people. If you want to know for a fact when I'm going to have knives in stock before I have them, subscribe to my email list on Exodus Knife and Tool, exodusknifeandtool.com, and make sure it's not going in your spam folder. Because every time I've got knives, I get all these emails. Oh, I didn't know that you had them and they already sold out. Sorry, man. Like, I let everybody know on the email list and on my blog at Exodus Knife and Tool at least a week ahead. And I send out multiple reminders. If it goes to your spam folder, fix it. So, I do Instagram, sadly. I actually really like Instagram. It's the only social media that I really like. But I've got a Facebook, which I use less and less. And I am on Gab, MeWe, and Telegram. So if you bug me enough, you might find me out there. But usually I'm not on those sites because I don't enjoy them as much.
Mm-hmm. All right, man. Well, hey, thank you for your time, guys. Fucking make sure you're subscribed. Jacob's he puts out a ton of videos. And I like the ones where you get up after people too. Those are good.
Yeah. The popular ones, yeah.
Yeah.
I post a bunch of weird stuff. So like, it's always going to be knives, weights, guns, politics, crapping on Black Rifle Coffee. It's just the usual. So it used to always be communists. One of my T-shirts said "I hate communists." Now I gotta figure out how to put fascists in there too. But
I got to send you one of these.
Heck yeah, man.
I haven't made any in a while because usually I like every time someone orders one that I make a shitload, but no one's been ordering them. So I don't know. I was thinking about lowering the price and getting more out there.
T-shirts are hard to me.
Oh yeah, dude, it takes forever. Well,
yeah.
I don't know. It's a process. everything. But
Well, thanks for having me. I'll have you on sometime, and I'm down to talk about whatever. I basically have no filter and nothing that I'm not willing to talk about.
right on, man. And then hopefully when we get together in March, first week of March at Active Response if you can. All right, man.
See ya.
Thanks. Have a good night.
My pleasure. You too.
All right. Thank you guys for tuning in. I'm sorry I didn't read all the comments. It was kind of in the conversation. Last thing before I go, if you ordered a black backpack, the black backpacks are going to be getting made tonight. Like, I'm about to keep my ass up late making those. All classes are going to be at Aries right now. We're no longer at the Claremont range. They started a private gun club there. So those are all classes underneath the bunker. So go train with my buddies Paul and Jeremy there, but I'm not able to use it. So we're not. So if we try to contact those that we had scheduled for the 18th for Rifleman 1, but those classes are being moved to Aries. So sorry about that if that's an inconvenience, but we weren't able to use that range anymore. It's kind of something that happened without us being able to plan for it. But yeah, that's it, guys. Let me just read the last couple comments. See, you guys are y'all are like talking to each other in here somewhat too. Should have more clearing buildings and calls, or y'all have a good night. All right, thanks, guys. There you go. Casey Kemp, can't wait to train with you either, bro. Really looking forward to that. You and your friends, thank you guys for all signing up. But that's it, guys. You can go to the beginning of the video. You can see this pouch we made fits 2 AK or 3 AR or 1 bang can. But we'll make a video about that. I'm gonna play with it a little bit, make sure the design's good to go. We'll put it on the market. This will be going on the chest rigs too. All right. Thank you guys for watching. Keep fighting communism. And remember that training